Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Vobes show. I'm Richard Vobes. It's very nice to see you on the 28th of December 2018, live on Facebook and then repurposed on YouTube. How are you? Are you well? It's been a week since I've been on here, and the lighting is slightly different. I apologise about that. It does look like I'm in a studio that has yet to turn on its big light, which is true, actually. But hey-ho, that's the way it goes. I've been fiddling and farting with these lights, probably farting on them, more to the point, and they're still not performing. I need to get daylight, because I have a light up here, but it's not daylight light. I need to find a couple of daylight bulbs just to improve it. Anyway, you don't want to know all of that. How are you? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Oh, we haven't quite got to the Happy New Year bit, but never mind. Doesn't matter. We'll get there soon enough. Let's see if there's anybody out there. I just got to move a little thing over here so I can actually see if anything's working. And it does seem to be working, which is good. Hang on. I know a number of people are there. But I'm scrolling down because, so forgive me if I don't do the immediate roll call, which I normally do, only because it's just awkward. So hello. I feel out of kilter somewhat, having spent the week off. Actually, I'm very tired because I've been on a number of walks since I last saw you. Yes, on Christmas Day I went for an 8-mile walk. I didn't go for a walk on Boxing Day. I went for a walk the day after Boxing Day and did some filming. What was that? Then the following day I've been out, and then today I've been out for a walk, and there's the group walk tomorrow, all on the Bald Explorer stuff. But this isn't the Bald Explorer. This is the Vobe show. Lovely to see you. Anne Osborne has joined. Mark Selwood is there. Gary Baines is saying hello, Christmas. Brendan Potts, hello, Brendan. Haven't seen you for a while. Richard Suggett is out there, which is lovely. Kevin Hall has joined. Mark Selwood is. I hope, Mark, you're a bit happier because I know you got this wonderful Osmo DJI thing. And it wasn't working, which was a bit of a duff situation for you. Have you heard back from them? That's what I'd be interested to know. Terry Wood is also out there, says good evening, Richard, and everyone who is watching. Got to move my little mouse down so I can get the comments. I don't know why it doesn't just stick there and let the comments come up. It's very frustrating, as you can imagine. Nigel Sadler says, greetings to everybody. John Coventry, Coventry, or there's no E after the V, which is interesting. He says, where have you been? I've been here. I mean, it wasn't late, was I? Hello, says Stuart Hill. Nigel Sadler says, looking a bit gloomy with this evening's lighting set up. Yes, it is a bit gloomy. I do apologise for that, but I need another light. I've got 2 lights on here. I'll put this on, and you'll see what will happen. It'll just go horribly nasty. Just waiting for the feedback. Mark Selwood says, I like the lighting, very dramatic. Oh, thank you very much. So that's now probably gone a bit red and, well, actually, this is one of those slow burn lights. It takes a few minutes to warm up. So I need to get a daylight bulb. It's very frustrating, probably gone very red. And whenever I look at my monitor, it looks like it's gone sepia. Am I in sepia? Oh, this bloody thing will not. I can't keep up with the comments because they keep dropping down. Mark Selwood says, on the online shop, I got the Osmo Pocket from Don't Reopen Until the 2nd. They said they will exchange it for me. Don't reopen. They don't reopen. I thought you meant don't reopen the package. Now that's gone incredibly. I don't like that. So I'm going back to the gloomy look. I'm so sorry. So that's interesting. Stevie Blake has arrived. Hello, Steve Blakey. Lovely to see you. Steve Polfold. He says he's late. He's sorry. Don't worry about that. It's nice that you've popped by. Pauline King says hello from Vancouver Island. Very nice out there, I would imagine. See, is it cold out there in Vancouver Island? Is it a bit freezing cold out there, or have you got winter, or are you like New Zealand? I mean, I know you're on the other side of the world. Well, not really, about 3,000 miles away, aren't you, in Vancouver? But I bet it's cold. It's not like where my daughter is. My daughter Georgie, the lovely Georgie, spent Christmas in New Zealand, and she posted pictures of them on the beach with big pints of lager with Christmas hats on. Yeah. I can't get my head round having Christmas. Now, I can understand Brits and people from this side of the continent having a Christmas in somewhere like Australia or New Zealand and going, oh, well, it's Christmas, we'll wear a Christmas hat because that's what we do at home. But I just don't understand why people from New Zealand and Australia would get into the dressing up, into the heavy warm outfit stuff. That must be very peculiar. I just don't quite understand that. Martin Snow says it looks very atmospheric. Thank you very much. Atmosphere is what I was after. Whether it's the right atmosphere, I don't know. Nikki Jess has joined. Hello, Nikki. Matthew Holdsworth has joined. Welcome to the slightly subdued lighting. It certainly looks like I'm down in a basement. I'll give you that. It looks like I'm down in the basement looking for the fuse box. Where's the fuse box gone? I think it seemed to have got stuck. One of the fuses have gone. Oh, that's charming, that is. Let me just scroll these things down. So I would like to know... I would love to get back to Vancouver, says John Berger. Oh, why is that? No, not cold. It's just like your weather. Oh, well, we had a mixed day today down in Worthing. We had the sunshine for a while. This morning was a bit overcast. Mark Selwood says, I hope we get to see some photos from the walk tomorrow for us that can't make it. Oh, don't worry. I should think people will be, excuse me, will be posting those photographs all over the place. I'm sure they will. It's going to be very exciting. Steve Pilfold says, evening, Martin. The 360 videos were very interesting. I guess if you wear special specs, the video follows your head. Oh, how exciting. Cynthia Walder has joined. No idea what he was talking about there, but do send me an email. Be interesting. Mark Selwood says, Martin Snow, you got your Osmo activated. I must be the one of the unlucky ones, and there are many. Are there many of unlucky ones? Maybe yours was a Friday machine. I would like to know... Oh, it's the two shadows that follow you around that amuse me. Will you stop following me around? Is one of them Hank Marvin? Won't have these shadows following me. It's very mod. Yeah, so I want to know what you got for Christmas. Because we did a Secret Santa at my family, so we only got one present. I won't tell you what I got, but it's on a shelf. Very nice, but I'm not really likely to ever use it. So, hey-ho. But I'd like to know what you got for Christmas. What did you get? Did you get something exciting? Did you get the thing? Did you open it up and go, oh, yes, just what I've always wanted? Or did you get the thing actually that you really did want? I'd be fascinated to know what sort of presents were people getting, because I know that people I know, yes, I know people I know seem to have got some very nice presents, people around me, and I have to say I was slightly envious, but I'd like to know what you guys got. So Nigel Sadler saying books, and more books on British history. Perfect. But yeah, go on, give me a title of one of the books you got. You can't just say books, that's too random, isn't it? Books, that means anybody could be books, but what books entice us? What's the favourite book that you got at Christmas, Nigel Sadler? Matthew Holdsworth says, I got a load of clothes, which I need, and a number of books. Ah, yes, you see, I need clothes. I also need books, as you would probably guess. Yeah, clothes would be useful for me. I seem to be wearing the same old stuff from the charity shops, but hopefully I'm going to go and peruse the charity shops, because there's probably quite a good load of stuff that's going to be, you know, people won't want to hand them back and say, oh, no, I don't want this. And to the giver, they're more likely to take them down the charity shop. So January, whilst the rest of the world is in the January sales, buying more new stuff, I should be going around the old charity shops and seeing if I can pick up. I like this jumper. I know you can't really see it, but I quite like these thin jumpers. I never used to like thin jumpers, but I do like them now. I think they're quite flattering. Steve Pilfold says he got an elf. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Kevin All says, why is everyone saying about Richard being subdued? That is the way Richard is normally. Oh, thanks, Kevin. Cheeky monkey. Yeah, no, I'm a bit tired in today's show. I'm sorry, I'm not giving it my full worth. I've I've been up and I've been editing and I've been doing lots of stuff. And today is the end of a long day. And I've fitted in a walk and some various things. So you'll have to forgive me if I'm just cruising through this show. Matthew Holdsworth says, I got the At the Stations book, which is excellent. All the Stations book. Is that the couple that went round the stations? What do they put in their book? I'd be fascinated to know. They got onto the merchandise trail pretty swiftly there then, didn't they? And you can't blame them. It must have cost them a fortune to get to all those stations. Richard Suggett says, I got a new tripod and a college. And a what? A college? I don't know. What do you mean by... Does that say college? And a college. I don't know what you mean. Mark Selwood says, hi, Nikki. Lovely Christmas with you. That was Mark Selwood to Nikki. There's a lot of Nikki and Mark going on. We kind of get the idea. If you could tone it down, maybe find a chat room or get a room somewhere. I'm only joking, but we do see a lot of it. Nigel Sadler says, Britain BC, Britain AD, Britain modern history, Britain over the moon, Britain somewhere else, Britain and tea. Brittany and Spears. Oh, nice. Well, that's a nice selection of books. Thank you, lovely Mark, is Nikki Jess. Thank you, lovely Nikki Jess, for saying nice things to Mark. I forget whether this is the Vobes show or the Mark and Nikki show. C. Pilfold says, did an Amazon wish list, as I've done for about 8 years, of books and tech stuff on an Apple slicer. I don't know what that means. Got 0 purchases again. Oh, nobody went to your Apple slicer? Oh, an Apple slicer. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant like an Apple product, but you got an Apple slicer for a real apple. Sorry, I thought real apples were out of business. The jumper on the Suggett walk looked a bit bobbly. You've lost it. It's gone. Sorry, the comments are going up. I don't want to keep reaching down. Robert Croser, hello to you. He's come back there. Yes, it's the Jeff and Vicky book. So what did they put in their book? How have they managed to get a book out? And are they, presumably, they're making as many sales as Jordan Peterson is? Steve Pilfold says, it's because you posted videos at 3 a.m. yesterday morning. Yes, it probably is. I got up in the middle of the night, couldn't sleep, worrying about shows and things. And so I came down and I put up the show, and answered all the emails and the YouTube thing. Do you know, here's the thing. I answer all the YouTube comments because I think it's only fair. I can't keep up the ones on Facebook because they're scattered all over. But YouTube, I do try. Very rarely then do I get a follow-up. I never actually know whether people see those things or not. It's very confusing. Because people will ask me a question, I'll answer the question. I may ask them a question and I never hear back. Paul said that it's just gone past, but I just quickly saw it. He's got a load of GoPro accessories, which is great. I saw the picture, actually. They look really cool. I need a little light like that. Glenn Johnson had a bottle of rum. Oh, if only I'd had a bottle of rum, I could have drowned my sorrows. That would have been lovely. Mark English, the lovely Mark English, he's there. By the way, Mark English, you can check out his films now. They're all on Amazon Prime. Don't bother to go on YouTube. You can go out and check them on Amazon Prime in top quality product, and you can stream them down. So I'm sure Mark will tell us all about how you do that. I haven't got Amazon Prime, but I think if you've got Amazon Prime, it's free. But you can purchase to view if you haven't got Amazon Prime, and I think one of his main features is Return to Ravenswood, if I've got that right. Go and check it out. All good fun. Robert Croser is having a laugh. Good for them. Not quite sure what it's good for, but it's good for something. Nigel Sadler says he also got The Story of the British Isles in 100 Places by Neil Oliver. I did see that. All the Rest by Francis Pryor. I did see that. I'm not a great fan of Neil Oliver. I'm afraid to say. I was actually asked to audition for Coast. You know the TV series Coast? After I put my Bald Explorer up, I had a producer from the TV series Coast get in touch with me some time ago now. He said, I really like what you do with the Bald Explorer. This is before the daily walks. This was the long format stuff that I was doing. And he got in touch and he said, I'm the producer of Coast. And, you know, we've got Neil, what's his face, whose name's now disappeared. And it was fascinating. And he said, yes, we're looking for somebody else to be in our lineup of presenters. And, you know, you could be one of them. What did you read at university? So I said, well, I didn't actually go to university. And the conversation changed. Oh, right. Oh, well, not to worry. We can't employ you because you didn't go to university. And I said, well, you know, I went to the University of Life. I'm an enthusiastic. I go around and I explore enthusiastically, and I'm the sort of everyman, if you like. I'm not the sort of knowledgeable man. I'm everyman. They said, yes, but the BBC, who commissioned this programme, will not put a new person on unless they have a doctorate or something in history or relative subject. You know, if you haven't been to university, basically, they won't have you. And so that was another near success for the old Vobes, but not quite. Not to worry. If I had done that, I wouldn't be doing all these wonderful things that I'm doing now. John Berger says that he got the Queen in 3D. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. You meant you listened to the Queen's message, did you, in 3D? Mission Moon 3D by Brian May. Yes, that Brian May. Which Brian May is that? Assassin's Creed visual history. See, this is all going over my head, I'm afraid. And a sword, a real sword based on the protagonist's sword in the original Assassin's Creed. Oh, yes, that's a computer game, isn't it? So that's all good. College of Photos collection. Oh, a collage. Sorry, I couldn't see the writing is quite small. A collage of photos. Very nice. Very nice. What will you do with this collage of photos? Robert Crosser says he's got a few books by John Timpson. Is that John Timpson who does the shops all over the place? You know, where you can get keys cut and your shoes re-heeled at Timpson's. Is that the Sir John Timpson? Is that his name, Sir John Timpson? Robert Peterson has joined. They confused me because I know somebody called Peter Richardson, but that's Robert Peterson. Hello, Robert Peterson. Thank you very much for joining. Lovely to see you. Do join in. We're trying to work out what presents people have got. Which is the favourite present? Which is the least favourite? You can tell me also. What is your most hated present? The present that you really didn't want to get, that you did get, or a present that you get every year without fail and you don't know what to do with. If anyone got a load of logs for Christmas and you don't need them, I know somebody who could do with them for his Essie Ironheart, which he's recently purchased. Desperately looking for logs all the time. Mark Selwood says, getting your videos on Prime, Mark. Oh, right. So there we go. That's really cool. What's the experience like? I'd be interested in what the experience. I'm not a member of Prime. Martin Snow, 3D printed Osmo pocket holder for GoPro fittings. I'll have to think about that in slow motion. Nigel Sandler says, love the way the emojis disappear into the mirror. Just a minute. Hello, emojis? There are no emojis there at the moment. Please send your emojis up. It'd be lovely to see them disappear into the mirror. Steve Blakey says, loads of money for Sea Gauge Model Railway show in Bristol in January. You should take a little camera and do some filming. And, oh, there they go, into the mirror. I only have to ask, you know, so you should take, Steve, be interested in that. I know that we've got George in, not Tunbridge Wells, but that on that way to Tunbridge, not Wisborough Green. What's that place on the way to Tunbridge Wells, begins with a W, that sounds like Wisborough Green and isn't Wisborough Green, but because that's near Billingshurst. Oh, anyway, little place on a hill, you drive down, there's a Morrison's on one side, or is it, there's a garage, I can't remember, doesn't matter. And of course there's lovely Henry, he's into his aeroplanes, into his model railways. Dave Oakley, hello Dave, how are you? Are you well? Have you had a nice Christmas? Trying to work out who had the best Christmas. Daniel is there, nice to see you back, Richard. Thank you very much, Daniel. What did you get for Christmas? We're trying to find out what people had for Christmas in today's show, and whether you got, a better present than I got. for Christmas. So that would be nice. Like Coast, but was done to death, says Robert Crozer. Yes, I couldn't agree more. So I'm a little bit behind. Here we go. John Berger. You need a university degree to be a presenter when you clearly have your own genuine experience. The BBC is beyond idiotic in that case. It is. I completely agree. I used to hanker very much and got very depressed about trying to break into television, and I tried really hard by producing my own stuff and sending it in and making pilots and sending it in and going on courses and talking to producers. And it was just, they don't like me. They don't like me. But I've got over that now. Neil Crane Nick Crane did Coast. Oh, yes, that's right. Nick Crane. Steve, this was talking to somebody else. Kevin Hall, Brian May from the band Queen. The band Queen, of course. Oh, yes. I thought Freddie Mercury was in the band. Or is he in a different band? He's dead now, isn't he? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter to his relatives, I suppose. Richard Suggett says, the collage will hang on my wall in the studio. Oh, that sort of collage. I've got it. Sorry, I'm being a bit thick tonight. Just a bit zombified. I do apologise. Ian Beddoe says, I got a T-shirt, but it's too cold up north to wear it. Can't you wear it underneath your clothes? Or can you not wear it in bed under the covers? And then take a torch to have a look at it, and a mirror, obviously, and go, look at me in my bed with my nice new T-shirt. La, 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 la. Oh, it's cold. Up north. Robert Crosser says, ha. Oh, no, not him. By the way, Robert, I like that video you put up there on the Facebook group. That was great, with you introducing all those nice, interesting places. Maybe more and more want to come up there. I will get up there. It's a bit further north than Horsham at the moment. So that's really good. Oh, new comments, 22. Martin Snow said something, but it's obscured by new comments, brackets 22, which has just come up. Facebook tends to do that, hides, you're in the middle of a show and it's telling you there's more comments and I would like to get to them, but I want to read that comment and then it flashes. Isn't that annoying when you're loading something up and you accidentally put the mouse over one thing and another window or a little thing opens up and you're going, oh, for goodness sake, go away, I want to press the button behind it. Oh, here we go. Who cares what Vicky does? I just sit and drool. Vicky who? Who are we talking about? Hi, Daniel, says Richard Suggett. I'm going to have to move this on because it's a bit irritating. Ian Beddoes is... Well, I thought Ian Beddoes was already here. Ian Evans is here. What did you get for Christmas, Richard? I got money. It's okay. I got money. Is the walk okay for tomorrow? Glad you got money. I didn't really get very much to worry about. I bought an Essie, so I'm very happy. I got a big stove. I brought some logs, which weren't very good. But I bought all those before Christmas. We didn't really have... I had quiche and peas. No, I didn't. I didn't actually have quiche and peas this year. But James DeWill has joined. The walk is on tomorrow. Yes, 10:30 for 11 o'clock. Please come along. The walk, if you want to come along, it's going to be great fun. I should be in full energy by then because as soon as this show finishes, I'm going straight to bed. I'm very, very tired. But it is on 10:30 for 11 o'clock start in the Findon car park. Well, it's Findon Valley car park. I forget the exact address. Just before you get to Findon, you turn right, out of Worthing, that is. And you go up, I think, is it Sisbury Rise or Storrington Rise or something like that? And then there's the car park. It's the car park that is on the west side of Sisbury, the southwest side of Sisbury Hill. Robert Crosser says, you sound like Alan Partridge. Inner City Sumo, Monkey Tennis, you're youth hosteling with Chris Eubank. Okay. Sounds grand. James DeWill says, hello there. Hello, James. It's nice to see you. Oh, Vicky Pipple. I don't know who Vicky Pipple is. Kevin Hall says, Queen members were Freddie Mercury, Brian May, Roger Taylor and John Deacon. Is that the same John Deacon? Wasn't there something called Deacon Blue? Or is that something different? James DeWill says, have fun, one and all, tomorrow. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, you're not coming? Oh, no, you're not in the country. That's a shame. But it's very nice. I enjoyed looking at your new profile picture, by the way. Sometimes I don't comment. It all whizzes past. Nigel Sadler says it's Storrington Rise. It's funny, isn't it? It's a weird name for the car park that's at Sisbury, nowhere near Storrington. And you can't even see Storrington from the car park. Well, don't know why they called that, but there we are. That's where it is, Storrington Rise. Good idea. Daniel says, I'm definitely coming, Richard. Looking forward to seeing you, Richard. I'm going to be filming. So everyone be on their best behaviour because Daniel will be filming. And no doubt other people will be filming as well. I'll probably take some film to make something and do some podcasting, I imagine. Martin Sows, I think she had Jeff with... I'm just waiting for your comment to come up. Oh, there it is. With her that day. I don't know who you're talking about, Martin. Vicky Pipple or something, and Jeff with no idea. Vicky Pipe. Oh, of all the... I haven't seen this All the Trail. I've heard of it, but I haven't really seen it. I think, Martin, you showed me about a clip. I can't remember the names of the people I haven't seen. I haven't got time to watch YouTube videos and all of that. I'm too busy creating them. You know, when you're a creator, you're doing this stuff. You've got time to actually go and watch other people's stuff for very long. You know, I'm supporting people like Mark English and Richard Suggett and watching all their stuff, of course. Vicky Pipe. Oh, all right, I'm sorry. These glasses aren't brilliant. I'm tired. It's a long day. The lighting is grim. Is this the last show of the year? No, it can't be. I'm sure we'll have a better show. I'm on my feet. If I sat down, I'd be asleep. Everyone's talking to somebody else. Have you just not said that? Monkey tennis. Have I entered on a alternative universe? Yes, James DeWill. I think this is an alternative universe at the moment. We're trying to ascertain what you got for Christmas. Now I'd like to know what you would have liked to have for Christmas. What would have been the one thing that would have made you go, yippee? What would have been the absolute pinnacle of your Christmas this year? What would you have, what was the one thing that not is beyond the realms of getting, just that you didn't get? So I'm not saying, won the pools. Do people still do the pools? I'm not saying those sort of things, not, win the lottery and buy, great big country house or a Mercedes or a Porsche, but something that people knew perhaps you wanted, or that somebody, if they really, really thought about it, they would have got you. What is the one thing that you would like to have had, but didn't have? This, I think, should be quite telling. Or are you one of those people who just have everything? And you don't, or you just don't need anything anymore. You don't know what you want, have no more clear vision. I'd be curious to know what is the one thing that you would like. Wendy Wakelin says, "Oh my gosh, I forgot you were still on. Still, I'm here now." Wendy Wakelin, I am unmemorable. Don't worry, a lot of people forget me. Daniel says, "What have you done today, Richard?" Well, I got up at 6 o'clock this morning. I uploaded the show as ever. I edited something. I can't even remember what it was. I whizzed out to go and meet up with the Friends of the South Down Society, and we went on a 2.5-hour walk around Eartham Wood near Slindon. And then we kind of did a big circuit and got onto Stane Street, the old Roman road that came out of Chichester and went up to London. Walked a section of that. I came back. I've edited up the gallery show, which will be going out tomorrow. I've been sorting out the various inserts for the podcast, which will also be going out tomorrow. That's the official Bald Explorer podcast. I have been cutting wood. I'm not burning ash at the moment. I've got some ash in my shed, but I've been told by this very nice chap called Brian in France. He says, don't burn it because it's not seasoned and you'll get creosote in your essie. And so I have a lot of timber, which is from old houses, and the timber is probably about 100 years old, so it's not treated timber, but it's just very old timber. Some of it's wet and some of it's dry, so I've been sorting that out and then chopping up the right bits and trying to keep the blimmin' essie alight to try and keep the temperatures warm. So it's been a bit of a strange old day. And managed to cook I'm just tired because I haven't had a huge amount of sleep. It's an accumulation of a number of days over the Christmas period. Oh no, I did that yesterday. I'm getting confused. Did things yesterday. Richard Suggett says also a plane ticket to Canada again. A plane ticket. Do you want to get one? Instead of a plane ticket, it'd be nice to get one that's a bit more colourful. With lots of little features on it. It'd be more entertaining to look at, because they can be quite bland if they're plain. Pools. A game of pool would be nice. Oh, here we go. This is what you would like to have. Brilliant. Yeah, game of pool. That would be nice. Yes. Mark Selwood says, I've got everything I really wanted. Maybe a new drone, but mine's being fingerprinted at this very moment. What do you mean by that? Do you mean that you've picked it up and the police are coming to dust? I don't understand what you mean by that. Nigel Sandler says, I'm installing a 220-foot 16-screen video wall at work next week. Apropos of nothing. Well, that's very nice. Will you be on this 220-foot screen with 16 cameras, I imagine? This is some sort of massive, great big, festival that's going on. Will you be bunging on a Vobes show or even a Bald Explorer walk? That would be interesting to see how that looks. Steve Pilford says, we need champs here to help with all these Alan Partridge references. And I was never really into Alan Partridge, I have to say. I found the humour a bit not my thing. June and Mary has joined. Hello, June. Claire Leach says, but I love the cosy pair of but I have loved a cosy pair of PJS and some perfume, but I've bought some PJS today for myself. Oh, pyjamas. Is that what you mean? PJS? Are they pyjamas? I assume they are. Where is Champs? Hadn't heard from her. I thought she'd gone off to be a land girl. James DeWill says, I think the question was rhetorical, Richard. Which question? Oh, what? Oh. James says, what I would like would... No, it wasn't a rhetorical question. I want to know what you would have liked. What would have been the one thing? This is an interactive show. If I don't get your messages, I know I'm sounding a bit lame and a bit confused. I apologise for that. I would have liked to have had a Christmas. That's what I would like maybe next year, to have had a Christmas. Did you? Why? What did you not have? Did you not have a? Were you working at Christmas? What does Christmas mean to you? David Carey has joined. Hello, David. Very nice of you to come along. Robert Crosser says, must get one of those GoPro things as well. They're quite handy, although I'm struggling with the GoPro 7 and may throw it in the bin. I'm sticking with my GoPro 5 and the gimbal, I think. The GoPro 7, I have done a number of tests on it. It's been in videos, and I think there's one good feature on it, and that is the speeding up business. But the picture quality is not as sharp as the 5. Nigel Sadler says inches and not feet. He's bragging again. Oh, no, you're not bragging. You're doing the opposite of bragging. You obviously got the reality check there. I hope the missus doesn't mind. Claire Leach says, yes, pyjamas. Oh, good. There we are. See, the psychic Vobes has the vibes. James DeWill says, sounds like we have a drone pilot near Gatwick online with us. Yes, well, it'd be nice to get him to help out. It would get him out of the news for a while, and he could take some nice pictures. Actually, we do know a chap who puts drone pictures up. That's Colin Brown. I haven't seen Colin for a while. Maybe he's being held by the Sussex police. Claire Leach says, I did get a drone, but couldn't manage it. Now, who would buy you, Claire, a drone? When you posted that, I did think, what? That seemed the most unlikely present. Now, I don't mean that in a nasty way, but I just thought, I didn't put you down for a camera-y technical person. So what kind of drone is it? Is it a big drone or a small drone? Or is it just somebody sitting in the corner having a go at you on and on and on and on and on and on and on? Who knows? Clearly it says, oh, I just read that. Nigel says, fair enough, Steve. Thanks. I've given up for now, says Claire. I'm not quite sure if she's given up for Lent. What, given up trying to fly in your drone? You should bring it. Are you coming tomorrow, Claire? You could bring it along. Somebody will be able to sort it out for you and fly it above Sisbury Ring. which would be interesting. Oh, it's a tiny little drone. Oh, a tiny little drone, is it? Is it one of those ones that I've seen them? There was a video somewhere where you could put a drone on your hand, and then it would fly up like this, and it would whiz round, and it would look at you, and you could tell it to go and fly somewhere else, and then it would do that, and then it would come back and land back on your hand. Is it one of those? Dave Salsona says, a job as a video editor on the Vobes show. Not much video editing required on the Vobes show. Maybe on the Bald Explorer, that was a different thing. I'm snowed under with editing at the moment. But I can't pay you. I can't pay you. And I do edit in a particular way. And I enjoy editing. It's a difficult thing. I do appreciate, though, that you're very keen to get some work in the UK. Mark Selwood says, I'm super impressed by the stabilisation of the new GoPro. A gimbal killer, but doesn't keep the horizon level, I guess. Mark Selwood, it's interesting you should say that, because no, it's not doing the, what's the name? I don't think the quality of the picture is as good. To me, the picture is just slightly blurred, and also it's a very electronic image compared to the 5, which I think is it's because the 5 isn't having to do anything other than record, because the gimbal keeps it steady, but the 7 is having to do a lot of processing and moving pixels about, and as a result of that, of course, the speed it's doing and the small amount of processor it's got, there's going to be a trade-off, isn't there, between the quality of the picture and what you can do. I like the idea of having something that is smooth that you can hold about, because that's very good. You can pick it up, film something, shove it in your bag. I do like that side of it, but I just find the auto light meter is too sensitive. Far too. I mean, the slightest shadow, it shuts right down. It's like in the old days when you used to have a tape recorder. Do you remember the old days when you have a tape recorder and you used to go out, and if there was a loudish noise, and it was on auto volume, Steve Pilfold will remember those days, the thing was so sensitive it would just shut the thing right down, and then it would be so quiet for ages, and then eventually it would slowly come back up to volume like that. But now the auto stuff is so much better. It can adjust it with a lot more finesse, but not so the GoPro as far as I can see. Mark Selwood says, those drones are a nightmare to control. You have to really be on the ball to keep them airborne for any amount of time. Yeah, I don't really, at this moment, have a hankering to buy a drone, to be fair. Claire Leach says, don't judge a book by its cover, Mr. Vobes. What book are we talking about? Are we still talking about the drone? You've lost me, Claire. Can I just say, you really have to tell me what your comments reference, because there's all these different delays. There's a delay from me to get to you, then I get this coming back to me, and I may not have seen another comment, and I've referred to something, and so this isn't having a go at you, but when you say don't book a cover by its the thing, I'm not quite sure. I've lost the thing. So if you could just say what it was, then trying to wade through all these things. Martin Snow says, have you tried the Osmo? Oh, it's gone. The Osmo, what? The little... Are you talking about the little DJI thing? Is that what he said? I haven't, but I watched a review about it, and I understand that the picture cuts in too much for selfie stuff, so you get more of your face. I don't want more of my face. Nigel Sadler says, the 7 Steadicam software wrecks the image like multiple duplicating on a JPEG image. Yes. I would agree. It's a shame. Automatic game control. That's right. Thanks, Steve. That's the word. Claire Leach says, I'm thinking of saving up for a GoPro. Well, I mean, you can get a GoPro. Most people won't mind about that. Most people won't care. They'll think it's great. But the trouble is, when you've used a lot of cameras and high-end cameras, you get very finicky. I get very finicky. James DeWill says, I'm thinking of the backdrop, by the way. Hint as Vobes natters about technical issues. Yes, well, the lighting is rubbish. I know that. Martin Snow says, set the GoPro to linear, made to lose bow in shot. Yeah, it is set to linear. It is set to linear when I've been using the 7. Mark Selwood says, Martin Snow, have you any problems focusing your Osmo Pocket? I've read about focusing problems. It'd be interesting to know. It's so tiny. I mean, it's so tiny. It's ridiculously small. But, you know, everything's small these days. Moving swiftly on, says Robert Croser. Not quite sure what you're talking about. Somebody's trying to change the topic. I have a DSLR camera, says Claire Leach, and drone, so don't judge a book by its cover, Mr. Vobes. Got it. Thank you. Didn't know what you were talking about, but now I do. And I hadn't put you down as a technical person because I haven't seen you with the camera, that's all. Don't have a go at me. Mark English says, I'm happy with my GoPro 6. There we go, which I'll be filming with tomorrow. Good for you, Mark. I think the 6 is probably as good or just slightly better than the 5, but probably the 6 is better than the 7, in my opinion. Looking at the footage that I've been getting. Wish I hadn't paid the money now. Mark Selwood says, I think the selfie stick coming out on the Osmo will help the tight frame. Oh, golly. So you now have to have a selfie stick. You know, they make this incredibly small thing that you can have like that, and then you got to have it on a stick. It's like, who thought that out? That seems like, ooh, yeah, we can make it really small. Yeah, but make it so it crops the face really far like that, and then they can buy a stick, and we'll charge £19.99 for a stick. It sounds a little, you know, we've got to make money from everybody. Martin Snows, there are a couple of Pocket review videos if you need to watch several. Colin Charles Cox has joined. I think people want to move on from that subject. Ed Keeley is coming in. Hello, Mr. Vobes, says Ed Keeley. Hello. To you. Take a look at my recent 3D post to YouTube. The first clip is of the Pocket. It was easy, early morning, so not the best lighting. Okay. eBay it and move on, says Steve Pilfold. All right. Moving on. Steve Pilfold is directing the conversation this evening. What prices? Look, people are talking about. I can't help that. If you're not interested, I can't help that. What am I supposed to do? This is what people are talking about. Ian Beddoes says, I remember carrying a full-size VHS recorder over my shoulder with a huge camera on the other shoulder. You had to be fit in those days. Yes, absolutely. I mean, things are so tiny that it is ridiculous, really. Nigel Sadler says, I remember, here we go. He says, that was Ian Beddoes. Nigel Sadler says there is a probability number of GoPro 5 and 6 going cheap on the second-hand market as techies rush to buy out the latest model. I'm sure they do. So that'd be interesting. Ed Keeley says, we only stopped using beta cameras a couple of years ago. Oh, Digibeta. Oh, blimey. What, really? Gosh. Digibeta. Blimey. I remember when I used to work on the bill, they used Digibeta. They'd come in. They had not Betacam. They had some of them. Then they had some sort of Digibeta. Blimey. James DeWill says, why is it called GoPro? I suppose Go Professional, is it? It must be something like that. When they first came out, they were just action cameras, and that's all people, people bung them on skateboards and things like that to get these shots. And mostly, I think people wanted them they were in America or these very countries with lots of light, which was great, and they had a lot of concrete, and they could get these sort of slow-mo shots. I think that was the biggest thing. They are massive, says Ed Keeley. Yeah, no, I bet they are. They're like big, shoulder cameras. And it's funny, isn't it? You still see people in these news gathering things with these massive cameras, and you do wonder why they use these big massive cameras, because even on the professional range of cameras you can get some smaller cameras which have an incredible latitude and do lots of things and with stabilization. And yet some of these big pro cameras, which are still costing, say, £10,000, which they have on their shoulder with a big, massive lens and all of this stuff, and then the shots are still, they're no better, really, and they're still slightly at an angle. If you watch people who have these shots where they put the camera on their shoulder like that, in time, the horizons go like this. Even with the pros, the horizon, you'd think that they would be trying to desperately keep them straight, and they probably are. But the weight of these things, so it starts to get tilt over like that. It's quite bizarre. Steve Pilfour says, move on from the cameras on your life, not I, the show, I meant. Move on from the camera on your life, not on the show. Oh, it's, yeah, sorry. See, it's very difficult. Anybody want to come in here and do it from this perspective and read all the comments and try and string it together and keep it going? You're very welcome, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. It's very easy. Dean Cooper says GoPros are cheap on Amazon, £35 to £1,000, depends on your budget. GoPros, are they? The £35 GoPros, do they have an on button? Or are you just buying a box that looks nice? I wonder. Steve Pelfour says, TBH. That's either somebody or it's a acronym. To be honest. I think I'm slow tonight. I quite like what you're doing at the moment, mixing the tripod stuff with the original gimbal stuff. Oh, on the Bald Explorer. Do you know, I thought you meant here in the studio with the lighting and just me trying to stay awake. Thank you. Yes, I like that. I want to go back to more tripod, fixed camera, nice footage stuff. And less of, but it's trying to push them out. It isn't an easy thing. But I do want to do more of that. I've shot something which is back on the gimbal. The next couple of things are back on just the gimbal. There's something about that static shot to me that has a quality. It just and on the DSLR, which is lightweight. I mean, I wish my good camera was more portable, and my tripod. I miss having a decent tripod. All these little domestic tripods, they're great, but having been in the professional world and you spend a lot of money on kit that just works. It just does what it's supposed to do. There's no, I wish this was a bit... I mean, one of the things I've got is this Tascam recorder on my microphone. You've probably seen it in the videos, little box here. Fantastic thing, except for the on and off button. Mr. Suggett's just bought one, and I bet you're fiddling. It's such a stupid design. I get my fingernail in there to turn the thing on and off. It's a struggle every time, and you just go, I would spend £100 more on something that you could just switch on and off with ease. Mark English says, I show on everything from Super 8. I've shot on, he's bragging again, shot on everything 8 from Super 8 to DV Cam to DSLR and beyond. Act in film and shot 8K. Quality goes forward quickly. Yes, Mark, I have equally done, I haven't done 8K, I can't see the point of that. We don't even look, our eyes do not even perceive in 4K. So quite why people want to go to these, unless you're doing big cinema productions and you're blowing it up so big. I can't quite see why you would want to go to such resolution. But yes, actually, I'll top you there, Mark. I worked on standard 8 and 16mm film. Standard 8 is 16mm that's cut up the middle and then was joined. I did play with 9.5. Didn't actually film anything on it, but I had a go on it. And 16mm VHS. DV Cam. I never got into the 3 machine edit stuff. I just thought, as soon as you're talking about generation loss, which you had on video, those early videos, what was the point? You could still work on film. And I would edit a work print. This is an old-fashioned, and I cut neg for the Snug and Cozy pilot. I cut the original negatives ourselves. Absolutely mind-numbing. Martin Snow says, why bother with 8K? I'm waiting a couple of years for 16K. Dave Selserza says, you should attend a NAB, a National Association of Broadcasters convention in Las Vegas. You'd be in heaven. Do you know what? I know I'm talking about all this gear and stuff. I'm just not that bothered about. I mean, I want the thing is, I was a member of a cine club years ago, and And it was the same old thing. It was the same old thing wherever you go, and I'm sure this is with any group or club or association anywhere in the country. You'd go, and the people who didn't really have a lot of money and had very basic equipment, they were making the best films. And the people who were boring the pants off you had the latest camera, and they would show you their holiday stuff. And in this cine club, it was cine and video was, you know, people would be showing their holiday things, 20, 30 minutes of snaking camera, looking at yachts and looking at beaches, and it was as boring as you could possibly imagine. Imagine it now. It's even, people must be showing people footage of, you know, hours and hours. Well, people don't do it. Jacques Tati had a fantastic little moment in his film Playtime. I don't know if anyone's ever seen Playtime with Jacques Tati, where they were desperate to get a shot of him, and so they started to show home movies, and he said, oh, well, no, I must go. It was a great sort of thing. But and that was the thing. People who seem to have all the latest kit and all the gear and everything else often very much can't use it. That's why they keep buying new gear, because they don't know how to use it. And those people who have good gear, they know how to use it. They old gear, they know how to use it. They just don't need to keep buying the new stuff. The people who had the new stuff would never make anything of any interest. It was very peculiar. So yeah, no, I'm not overly bothered about actually all the broadcast gear and stuff. I want the stuff to do its job, and then that's fine. It's just a tool. For me, I don't care. It's a tool, but I want the right tool for the right job. I don't want to pick up a spanner that won't do the right nut, if you see what I mean. Nigel Sassler says, no, I prefer Gas and Mr. Suggett. Okay, I missed out there. 8K is the way forward according to all the pro DPs I know. Okay, well, what are you going to do with it? Here's my argument. What are you going to do with this 8K? What are you going to do with it? We don't look with 8K. People are watching on their phones and tablets. It's going to be more and more of that and less of everything else. And you can do 720. I was shooting for ages in 720p. My stuff on the community channel is all 720p. 720p. I love it. This whole 4K, 8K. Honestly, make good stuff. People will watch it. It's not about the quality of the stock or the image, really. It's about the content. Don't get that right. You've had it. Nobody will watch whatever you do. John Berger says 8K is pointless for the viewer. You need a huge screen and you have to sit incredibly close to see any benefit over 4K. However, it does allow for better cropping and framing in post-production for 4K viewing, and the video files for 8K shots are incredibly large. Yeah, so that's... Yeah, and if you know what you're doing, why are you even cropping? What's wrong with the old-fashioned way of actually getting on location, knowing what you're going to film, and not actually cropping? What's wrong with actually knowing your stuff, with having the knowledge to film it, and not go, oh yeah, I'll just film anyway there somewhere and then crop out the bit I want? I mean, God, come on, learn the trade. Mark English says you can shoot on whatever you like. Of course, it's the story. If the story is crap, what's the point? Exactly. There you go. Glenn Johnson says it's the same in music. I bet it is. This is why some bands, it's just like a harmonica and a guitar or something, a knackered old thing, can sound amazing. If it's the right thing, the right song, and you'll go, wow, really like that. And a lot of the time, I think, for bands and artists, it's not just the music, it's seeing the person. It's that human... the person playing the music is, if you take away that element, you're taking, I think, a great part of it. The performance, the person, which is why poetry works better when you've got somebody reading it rather than reading it yourself dry, I think. And I may be wrong. Robert Crosser says, prefer Monsieur Hulot's Holiday. Yeah, Monsieur Hulot's Holiday. Love that. Yeah, it was obviously that was his second film. Brilliant film back in the day. Da 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 da. Yeah, Monsieur Hulot. Who could forget? And the car. For those who don't know, check out Jacques Tati. It is an acquired taste, ladies and gentlemen, but fantastic. Robert Crosser is saying 4K is just fine, just fine. Okay. Martin Snow, I've only bought odd-numbered hero models, so what features will the GoPro 9 have? And Mr. Snow, you buy all this stuff, but we never see anything with it. This is I'd never understand these people that buy all. Oh, I've got to have that. I must have that. I must have that, and then they don't use it. I just, my GoPro 5, which I bought thanks to Mr. Snow helping me out to purchase it. And I'm not knocking you, Mr. Snow, but you do buy a lot of kit, and then I never see it being used, which is sacrilege. But I bought, my GoPro 5 when we went into that shop in Burgess Hill, and we bought it, and you lent me the money, and then I paid you back, and we bought that GoPro 5, and I've been using that almost every day for, 15 months? Every day, that one thing. So that's quite interesting. Nigel Sanders says, latest models, usually more features at the same or lower quality. Why bother? If your old kit works, use it. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. There's nothing. I've got a 720 camera, 720p. For those that don't understand this language, I apologise. It is the sort of thing. HD is the sort of norm that we watch these days. And when HD first came out, there was something called 720p. Mostly HD is 1080p, which is it's got more pixels in it, so that it's a better picture, sharper picture. But it's the same resolution. It's the same dimensions. It's usually 16:9, isn't it? So I've got an early camera, but a brilliant camera. A camera that was used on the very first Daniel Craig James Bond film, the EX1, the Sony EX1. Admittedly, it was before the GoPros were there, and they had them fixed to cars, and they would tend to smash them up. And this was about $3,500 when I bought it, and it only films in 720p, but it's got amazing sensor, amazing picture quality, and I love it. And the features are on the outside, and you can access it quickly, and you can really use it brilliantly. It's absolutely brilliant. I upgraded to a camera which is 1080p, which is the one I now use for my corporate work. Don't like it as much. It's arguably a better picture, but only arguably, and the features are just not as easy to use. And it's and the DSLR that I now use, which I used in that walk that Steve Pilfold was talking about, the recent one, the one that's on at the moment on the Board Explorer page. It's a budget DSLR. Forget who makes it, Canon camera, and it's okay. It's okay on auto, and I just can't go into the menu and fiddle and fart about. I want buttons on the outside that you can get to very quickly. I like manual control. So you can, because it's about knowing your stuff. Not enough people know their stuff, which is really sad. Glenn Johnson says, my eyes are 50 years old and I can't tell the difference. Exactly, there you go. Robert Crosser says, nothing wrong. Yes, trust. Truest thing you've said, Richard Vobes. Not quite sure what it was, but thank you very much. The art of picture framing, image, not printing. Yes, absolutely. And I don't do enough of that. Because a lot of people don't do any of it, but I wish I could spend more time getting my pictures correct. Steve Pilfold says, soldering up your own leads is a lost art. Yes, it is. You just buy them online, usually ready-made. Well, that's true. I haven't used my soldering iron for a long, long time. I do occasionally. Robert Crozer says, the original Mr. Bean, the noisy door, Mr. Vobes. I was in the Mr. Beans. That's no word of a lie. I was in a number of the Mr. Beans as an extra years and years ago. Quite amazing. Martin Snow says, not all my work goes online. Oh, fair enough. That's why I was saying I don't see it. Mark Selwood says, it's only been Mr. Vobes that's inspired me to start using some of my techie crap to make anything worthwhile watching. And good for you, sir, Mark Selwood. Good for you. I'm pleased that in my small way I can inspire a few people. Robert Crosser says, my camera's a 1080p. You don't need anything more than that for the moment. It's 4K stuff, really. It's a bit overkill, I think, personally. I mean, the file sizes are just too big. And there's something about having a slightly soft, not soft focus, but a slightly less sharpy, because I think we want to have something, our imagination to do something. We don't want what we watch to be too real. I think that's a mistake. The film look that everybody was, when video came out, people wanted the film look. Oh, we must have the film look. It looks expensive. It looks like that. Well, the film look is actually downgrading the video. So your 4K's been actually slightly downgraded because it's not just that it's softer focus. It's to do with the frames per second and a certain coloration and a number of things to make it look like a film look. But it's actually, you're degrading the sharpness and the reality of the pictures, because you're actually giving something it's slightly romantic in a non girl boy relationship type thing. It's just slightly magical, the film look. Still, Paulford says, I'm still doing stuff it's gone. I'm still broadcasting in standard def at my work. So there you go. SD still has a place. I've still got my PD 150. Mark English says, totally agree with Richard. It's about buttons being easily accessible on the camera. You haven't got time when you're filming to start farting about inside menus. And the sooner that these people who make the cameras realise that a lot of people just want to grab stuff and get on with it, and not go looking, and because it's all very well selling your camera on the basis it can do all these amazing things, but mostly you only want to do the same things on and on and on again. Nigel Sandler says, the picture that we are looking at now is 720p, Facebook defaults HD quality. Yeah, and Facebook, it is annoying. I shoot stuff in 1080p, I upload it to YouTube, it goes out in 1080p, I upload it to Facebook, it's 720p. It used to be HD. It used to be 1080 when I first uploaded them to Facebook, and then suddenly I reckon they realised by going to 720 they could cut their storage down. Richard Circus says, I almost agree about buttons being on the outside. I mean, I also agree. James DeWill says, New Year, plans for anyone? Have you certainly inspired Josh, says Matthew. Good. Well, I'm very pleased. We've run out of time, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know where that time went. We've been on for an hour, mostly talking about cameras. I do apologise for that, and Christmas presents. But and I'm sorry about the lighting in here. I need to invest in some lights and make the studio a little bit more interesting. But at the moment, I've still got what you can't see is the other side of the camera, which still has half my kitchen in and a whole load of junk, and it's very depressing. And also, I'm still trying to work out what to do with this Vobe show. My main focus is on the Bald Explorer, trying to make that better. The Vobe shows you can see tonight, I mean, I can play things in, I can do all that, but unless I'm really prepared to sit down and prepare these things and get them, and that's all very time consuming and make it really good. At the moment, all I can do is just this sort of contact, this I talk to you, you talk to me format at the moment, in order to keep it going. And I hope it's working for you. I hope you're finding it enjoying. I'm sure that we've only got 28 people watching, so it's probably... Oh, hello. Fetching the stream. Just disappeared then for a second. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm always aiming for 1080p. Look sharp says, yeah, I mean, 1080p is your standard now, so probably not worth going to 720p unless you've got a very, very good camera that does that, and then it's almost almost not noticeable. John Berger says, if you want to get the film look, then use film. It's still readily available. Exactly. Why not use, you know, that was the weird thing. You don't buy film and say, oh, I want to get the video look. Glenn Johnson says the watercolour look was okay 100 years ago. Yeah, thanks. Dave Salsosa says, highly recommend Davis and Stanford tripods. They're awesome. Manfrotto are pretty good, especially the Pro range, not so much the domestic range. Martin Snow says, just finished uploading a 360 clips from Christmas Day, 140 gig. See, I mean, the file sizes are ridiculous. Mark Selwood says, especially in UK's upload speeds and things, Mark Selwood says, it's been a great techie episode. Thanks for the show tonight. Techie with my lighting. But no, please to, you know, I don't know very much about the whole business or anything, and I have strong opinions. That's about as far as it goes. Anne Osborne says, have a good time on the walk tomorrow. We'll look forward to seeing the photos. Thank you, Anne. We'll get the photos out as soon as possible. I'm sure everybody will be posting. It's going to be fantastic. I will be revitalised and full of energy tomorrow morning, I hope. So I'm going to head off to bed now. Thank you so much for coming along and keeping me company. These Vope shows have changed from show to show. You never quite know what you're going to get. I never quite know what it's going to be like. But I hope it's been all right. It's just been a long day. Anyway, take care, one and all. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch up with you. Gauge some opinion on your walk tomorrow, says Steve. Yeah, no doubt I will. If people want to push me over, then thanks. I'm sure you will. All right, take care, one and all. I'm going to fly off now. I'm going to have a nice cup of hot cocoa and toddle off to bed. So there we go. Nice to see you. Look after yourselves. And those people on the walk, I'm looking forward to seeing you. 10:30 from Storrington Rise, ready for a Sisbury sprint up at 11. So thanks so much. Look after yourselves. It's been great fun. And I'll talk to you in the future. Bye for now.